shot. I'm like, yep, okay. I might be have to step up if I get up in the middle of the 2-minute break. I need to go call my husband. Go get the grandchild. Well, I guess we should get started, huh?
I think it's our time.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. You bow your heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we praise you. We thank you for this day, Lord. We thank you for this country where we have the freedoms to do all the things that we get to do, Lord God. And we praise you and thank you, Father, for each and every person in this council room today. We thank you for each of our employees, Lord God, and the hard job and the amazing job they do. And Lord God, I just pray that you guide us and direct us in all decisions. Help us to have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in all things. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Kara, if you do roll call, please.
Counselor Steele. Counselor Culp.
Here.
Counselor Likens. Counselor Grabowski.
Here.
Counselor Keller. Here. Vice President Green.
Yes, here.
President Thor.
Present. Okay, we need to approve the minutes from the June 9th meeting. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved?
Okay, Counselor Green. Do I have a second?
Second.
Counselor Grabowski. Is there any conversation or discussion on that? If not, all in favor say aye. All opposed? Okay, that passes. Next thing is the approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve, please?
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, Councilwoman Grabowski, do I have a second?
A second.
Councilman Polk, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that passes. Don't really have any comments. We'll deal with budget discussion at the end, so we're good there. Mr. Auditor, Mr. Colt. Handing off the gavel there, huh?
In all fairness, I wasn't expecting him to be back in time. Evening, Council. Sam Lawrence, Deputy Auditor. Mr. Kolb asked if I would lend a hand and share the auditor's report with you this evening. So as I navigate a little to my right here, I'm hoping I don't get a kink in my neck.
Did we move the podium for a reason?
I believe it's so it's on camera.
Oh, okay.
That was our best guesstimate.
Okay,
So
okay.
we'll make do. We did Tai Chi this afternoon. So we're all right. There it is. Does it go down on the other screen, Mrs. Clark? Want to let me know when I'm hovering over it properly? Okay. Yes, you can.
A little surprise.
Hey, for two. I don't trust my own eyes. I wouldn't expect you guys to trust yours, so we'll get this a little larger for you.
I think I'm not reading glasses. See, my people are reading glasses.
I think so.
If you could. As we look through our general fund cash flow report, just a couple of items of note that I wanted to make sure you guys were aware of as we go forward and continuing with the year. We had a starting balance of about 14,707,085. Looking at the forecasting throughout the year, we are projected to end with a standing cash flow of 17,679,953, which is honestly quite pleasant to see. It shows that our forecasting is in line with last year with minimal change. We are looking to end with that 3 million surplus. Of note, about 2 million of it was in our lit, that supplemental that we received in May. So it's definitely a benefit to have gotten it. and we're projecting to end decently because of it. Obviously, we were able to make it through until our June drops, and so we're good there. And we project to end pretty strong on the back half of the year. Another couple of things of note, get to it here. With our current 26 adopted here at the top, and then any kind of additional appropriations that we've done through June's meeting, about 703, we're looking at about 45.3 in a total 26 operating within the general. That, again, bringing off the forecasted number of 45,820, we're still sitting in a pretty decent position, truly. There's still a little bit of expenditure yet to happen, so I imagine that when actuals come at the end of the year, we'll be closer in line, dollars for dollars. But in the meantime, things are sitting in a pretty decent position. That said, some things of note to take away at the recommendation of the auditor is that 2.2 million in lit supplemental that we were fortunate enough to receive, we might start looking at some of the ideas of moving items that had been moved from general into rainy day, things such as group insurance or the 27th pay. We may start looking at moving those back into general if we do have that surplus to be able to handle. I think other than that, that pretty much sums it up.
Can you go up to the top again? Because my sheet that I have was through May, and I just wanted to see the number of the total additional appropriations.
Looks like additional appropriation number as of this shows is 703,571. We have a reduced appropriation of 176,816 for a net of 526,755.
Thank you.
Happy to help. With that flow done, I did want to just pivot quickly, and I won't talk your ears off. I know you guys have heard me talk a whole bunch about it, but since I do have the floor, does anybody have any questions or anything that we can look up within ClearGov for you in regards to budget? Or as you said earlier, we can table that. It'll be closer to the end of the meeting as well. No problem. And then with that, I'm going to hand this back off for future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think we have any old business. So new business, we'll start with Jerry Bridges.
Evening, Council. Jerry Bridges from the Council of Governments. I also have with me tonight Alan Moore from Elwood, as well as Bill Savage. So if you have any other questions that may be in more depth, they'd be happy to answer them. This request was approved by our policy committee for $250,000. Total cost for this project is about $1,350,000. So they're asking for substantially less than what the cost of the total project is. It has to do with primarily there just north of 37 and 28 on the northwest quadrant there. By McDonald's is a property there called the Flanagan property. And the long and short of this project basically is to put in a new water main and also put in a new lift station, eliminate the old lift station that they've got at McDonald's, and drive all the flow from the new gravity sewers from those properties into the new lift station. And then eventually maybe future phases would go down to the southwest quadrant, down where McClure's is at. This has been needed for a while. So this is an opportunity for them to create more jobs, specifically with some new businesses. So that's what's driving this project. So, and if you, on the back of the map, I think you got this. If you didn't, I've got them.
I don't have it, but
Okay.
I've seen it, but I don't know that the rest of the council has.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you can see there where it's highlighted, where the property is there. So that's basically in the northwest quadrant there. Uh, and it's written so that they can do the future phases of this if they need to, which is south of basically that intersection. So that would still be there, but it would be on the southwest quadrant as well. So trying to solve a whole lot of, I think, things they need to do to actually add more businesses and make sure that they're hooked up to utilities that are appropriate. So I'd be happy to answer any questions, or Alan. Alan's a lot more uh, intimate with the project, so he could tell you other things if you have their questions.
Have you got any questions, comments? Okay, if not, then we need a motion to pass resolution 2026-7A, a resolution dispersing economic development project funds from the county's share of food and beverage tax funds. Can I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Okay, Councilman and Dr. Green. Oh, wow. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Councilman Culp. Any question or other conversation? before we-
I have one question.
Okay.
All right, so under the next steps, I see to contact property owners and negotiate easement acquisition.
Yeah.
I am familiar with this area. Are there any houses that would be affected by the utility easement?
Yeah.
Okay, that was my thought from looking at the
Yeah.
map, but I just wanted to double check.
It's all commercial in there. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
But that's a good
I
question.
just want to double
Yeah,
check.
yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, we got a first and a second. All in favor signify by aye. All opposed? Okay, that passes.
Thank you very much. And I know the mayor and his team would be really happy. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next is discussion about moving, it was briefly touched on about moving the 27th pay and the health insurance appropriations back to the general fund. Kara's been monitoring the 27th pay, and she's thinking probably around November, we would need to make an additional appropriation in the general fund to cover the 27th pay. The reason we're waiting till then is because employees come and go, and that way it'll be the most up to date with our roster of our employees and so forth. So I wanted to kind of put that in your ear, because we do have the extra money that we receive from the supplemental lit, and then that way it won't be coming out of our rainy day fund. And then the other thing is the health insurance, which Kara's also been monitoring the health insurance. And we are going to be short, but we're not sure exactly how much. So that's something that's gonna, I forget, when did we say on that one, Kara? Probably August, September, it'll come back before us to see about appropriating at least part of that back into the general fund. So is there any concerns about that?
Nope.
Okay. All right, moving on. We have transfers. The prosecutor's office.
Hello.
Hi, Heather.
Hi, Heather McLean with the prosecutor's office, here in place of Andrew. He's on his way back from Boston. So we're just requesting a transfer within our law enforcement fund, which is one of our supplemental funds that we have, our discretionary funds. We have a new deputy prosecutor that has extensive civil law background, and he's going to be taking over our civil forfeitures that we do. So it just kind of makes sense to supplement his income as opposed to splitting that 3 ways with a third-party attorney. So we're just looking to transfer some money to that supplemental deputy line.
Okay. Do I have a
Motion to approve.
Okay, Councilwoman Grabowski, do I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Culp, do we have any discussion or questions? If not, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next is new money requests. First is Larry Strange. I knew you were there. I was trying to see where he's from. Good evening.
Glad I got here. I was coming up 9 from Chesterfield, and there was a motorcycle wreck. It unfolded right in front of me. I saw the kid flying across the road. I've never, I'm not gonna say how old I am, but in my years, I've never seen anything like that. Thank God he looked like he was alive. The EMT and the ambulances were there very quickly. It was on one of those roads between where the stoplight is at the funeral home, and then, you know, the main, and it was one of those crossroads. I think he was just coming down 9, and the guy just pulled out and didn't see him. So thank God he's okay. At any rate, I just had to get that off my chest because I haven't talked to anybody. I was like, wow, that was pretty intense.
Yep, I can imagine.
At any rate, good evening. I'm Larry Strange from the Planning Department. I'm here tonight to ask council for appropriation of the $5,024 currently in the Unsafe Structure Fund, number 1207. We received an appropriation on October 14th, 2025, and are here to renew that appropriation. I was not aware that the appropriation had to be renewed every year, and we actually did do 2 cleanup programs in Alexandria where I was going to use money from this, and then when I went to get the money, we couldn't use it. So we are here to request that appropriation so that we can continue our planning and code enforcement efforts. And the 2 things we did in Alexandria, the Phillips and Mary Innisdale neighborhoods, we ended up pulling like 6 to 8 dumpsters of trash out there. The highway department was great. It was a really well coordinated effort. I mean, after going the last couple of days with the Summer Lake thing, I don't know if you've heard about the fiber stuff going on, but this was really great. So I'll take any questions.
Okay, first let's take a motion on that.
So moved.
Dr. Green, first, do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Grabowski? Okay, any discussion, any questions? I had one. So, where does the funding come for this particular, I know we've talked about putting more money into it, but where does that funding, where did that originally come from? I don't remember.
I think with the ordinance was created, I may be wrong, in 2005. And typically the money that goes in this unsafe fund can come from a general fund or any, as I understand it, can come from any fund into the unsafe fund. But from there, it can only be used for certain things as defined by the code and by the appropriations.
So there's no particular, like reimbursement for cleanup or anything like that that's going into that fund that you're aware of?
Well, right now there's nothing legally programmed. What some counties do is, for example, if we condemn a house and we tear it down and use county money to tear it down, then we legally can take that, go back to the owner of the property and get them to reimburse us. I've rarely seen that happen successfully. But there are ways we can get reimbursed, either through, some kind of.
Okay, is there any other question or comments? Okay, we had a first and a second. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thanks, Larry.
Thank you very much. See you.
Next is Mr. Kane.
Evening, Council. What we're asking you to do is transfer $200,000 from our, actually appropriate $200,000 from our commissary account. It's probably best to offer some background. For 25 plus years, we've operated a commissary that, by ordinance, that has been managed internally in coordination with the auditor's office, but has never received appropriation. And a lot of money has passed through that account and continues to pass through that account. Well, recently, following legislative interest and some high-profile incidents involving commissary accounts resulting in criminal convictions, we thought it was appropriate to go to the auditor and just share some thoughts and ask for some guidance going forward. And one of the suggestions from the auditor was to redo the ordinance. This is a 25 plus year ordinance. So we drafted an ordinance, and the commissioners at their last meeting passed that ordinance, which I have shared with you. And I think that you will find that it captures just nearly everything that is in the public domain and in the legislative interest about these funds. With the counsel from the auditor, the feeling was that these are funds that probably should be appropriated by council, and then we will spend them in accordance with the ordinance. So what we're asking you to do is essentially, for the first time, take money from our commissary account, appropriated into the fund. We will continue to spend the money in accordance with the commissary practices which are overseen by the treasurer and the auditor. And quite honestly, there'll be a time we'll have to come back to you and ask for more to be moved over to that account. But that gives you oversight on the account. The rules for spending the money are the same as they were for the last 25 years. It's all accounted for. It's all managed in accordance with State Board of Accounts procedures. And I will add, this account has been audited in the past by the State Board of Accounts and has gotten clean bill. It's just that there was this one piece that the money was not being appropriated by council that the auditor felt pretty strongly it probably should be, and that's what we're asking you to do today.
First, let's have a motion for that.
I make a motion to approve.
Hey, Councilwoman Grabowski, can I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Culp, and is there any questions or concerns, comments, or whatever?
Is that the balance that's in there right now?
Well,
or
there's
is it
more
ju-
than that.
Okay. And what, is it just gonna be one line in that, Todd, or is there gonna be other lines? It's just gonna be other services and charges to catch all the different?
Yeah, I think looking at their expenses, that would be the best candidate. Services or anything like that.
And it's a good, I've said this before, it's a good rainy day fund for us because we're able to spend money for events that come up quickly. And it doesn't, we don't have to come back and ask for new money from council.
So I just want to make sure I understand. So the commissary account's going to remain open and the money will continue to go into the commissary account. Then you will ask for a certain amount to be appropriated into a certain
The
line.
spending
into
account,
the
yeah. So
spending
think of
account.
it as a spending
Okay.
account. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, well, we have a first and a second. Any other questions or comments? If not, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
Thanks very much.
All right, next is Mr. Gardner.
Good evening, council. Here tonight to request an appropriation in the Capital Asset and Improvement Fund. If I could take just a moment to kind of go over some things we've accomplished and what we're wanting to do here with this appropriation. It's all related to the chapel renovation. We finished all the roofing and guttering work out there. All the exterior painting's been done. All the drywall and drywall repairs upstairs and all the re-drywalling of the entire basement and all the interior painting's been done. So what we're looking to finish up with is restrooms, the two old restrooms that are back in the back corners of the basement, none on the first floor. We had all those lines scoped and they're not usable for the plumbing, the sewage. It used to go to a septic tank of some sort, and where from there, who knows, in 1924 when it was built. So probably an outhouse originally, and then in a bathroom at some time. But anyway, so those restrooms have to be completely installed, and plumbing ran to the front building. So what we're looking to do, if I could just go over these real quick, this might be helpful. The total request is $80,000. The requests are for picking up the water line at the building to the north and running it to the chapel. It's an underground fresh water line that would be coming to there. That's $9,700. I'm rounding these numbers. Secondly is a rough in of a bathroom upstairs, which used to be, it looks like when you walk in the front door of the chapel, was probably a chapel office at one time. Restroom would be there, and then a restroom in the basement. There'll be programming in both of those areas for kids. A restroom right below that, also in the basement. That number is $26,980. Then, in order to accomplish that, you'll have sewer lines that need to be ran from the existing building up to and tying into the building in front, including grinder pits. Because of the slope, they're not sure that they can get the gravity elevation for gravity fed flow sewer. So grinder pits would be involved in that, which is common, especially like in a basement. That number is $23,300. And then a furnace and air unit for the basement is $13,490. And out of that $80,000 request, that would leave about $6,400. And the intent for that money is the chapel floor is a wood floor. Part of it's been painted and covered at some point. That would be refurbished. And also the concrete walkway from the Sycamore building back to the chapel and a concrete area in front of there. That $6,470 should be able to cover that. We're probably going to do the concrete work inside, but the product itself we'd have to purchase. So we'd be looking for $80,000 total. That $6,470 numbers, questionable whether we'd use all that or not. So, and that would accomplish the 2 restrooms, the furnace and air, the floor refurbished, and all plumbing needs running to the other building, including water lines. And that would make that building ready to open. Job Source already has asked if they could use the building, and we don't have restrooms installed yet in order for them to start using those buildings. So that's the request for tonight. Appreciate.
What is the end goal for the building? You said Job Source, and I also heard programming for kids.
Job Source runs a program called, help me out here. Hang on a minute, it'll come to me. It's mothers that are in thank you, Scholar House. So it's a program for mothers that are going to college. There's a Scholar House over by AU right now. This would, they're refurbishing the Sagamore building now. Job Source is with some ARPA funding, and they'll have programming out there for the kids, children of those college students. Is the initial use. And then any use the county would want to have out there for special events or anything. We would have liked to had a big July 4th celebration for 250 years. It's just not completed in time to do that kind of thing. But a variety of things could be done out there. Any conferences that we might have to have, or big groups of people would be a good place, even for times when you need a bigger venue for things that the council might be doing. It'd be a place that we could hold more seating,
What do
I
you
think.
anticipate the seating? Like, how many people do you think it could accommodate?
I'm not sure. It's probably triple or quadruple this room, I would guess. So
The basement.
no, that's the main chapel area. Yeah. So I'd say at least probably 3 times this seating, I would guess.
You have we've kind of appropriated funds at various stages.
Right.
This is sort of the next.
It would finish the project.
Okay.
Other than any chairs we might need to come across, and we haven't gotten there yet, but
There may be some
residual
furnishings,
stuff. Yes.
kind of things.
And if we had anything left out of this 6,400, of course, we'd be frugal with that number. I think we'd have a little bit to use from there for seating. So
So are you gonna make the chapel part more like an auditorium style seating? Is that what?
I would say it's going to be chairs that you can remove and put back. It'd get too expensive if we put this type seating in there. So it'd be stuff we could take out and then use the whole area for something else, and we wouldn't be bound by seating in the way. So
Rick, where is Job Source located now?
they're in one of the campus buildings at the Bronnenberg property on Mounds Road. They're going to be moving on. If you're looking at the youth center, you know where the chapel's at in the back. So the youth center's out here in front, or the juvenile center. The building out from the chapel is the building they're refurbishing right now. They're in one of the smaller buildings out front to the, I guess that'd be the east.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just sit on triple L, 'cause I forgot they're not out there anymore.
I forgot about
So why did they want to relocate out there? It's just a nicer.
more space. And we have you know, there may be some uses for that building out front that we've not really discussed yet that I personally would like to see, but I've not discussed it with other commissioners yet. Rather not say today, but I'd love to talk to you about it. But I don't really, you know, well, I could throw in this part. I'd like to see a better place for veteran services to be. That's my take only, I'm not speaking for any other commissioners or the commissioner's office, but I think it'd be a pleasant place for veterans to go rather than in the basement of the Star Bank building. That's what I'd like to see. We haven't had those discussions, but that's what I'd like to see.
And how accessible is it to get to that chapel? Like when we use it for other things, would it be just for county people to use or would it be for the public to use?
It,
If it was rented out, can the
if it was
public
rented out, they could get access to it. Yeah.
Isn't that a secured area back there?
It's not a secured area, but it does have a gate that's closed after hours, but those gates can be programmed to delete per event. It's just to keep people from meandering back there when they don't need to be back there.
Do you think there's parking sufficient back
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
to
If you're talking about
accommodate
weekends or
them?
after hours stuff, you have the parking back there by the chapel, and then there's additional parking lots. There would be plenty of parking for
But
an
if there was
event.
an activity,
Yes.
who would run that sort of rental of the facility? Would that
We
be-
haven't determined that. It'd probably come through the commissioner's office would be my guess. I mean, you know, there's not been any talk about the parks department being involved in it or anything, but there's
Well,
variety.
I love I mean, just, I appreciate the restoration of an important historical
it's just
facility. In my mind, I value that. And the idea that it can not only represent a meaningful historical structure, but actually have good and functional use that can be accessed by the county or by the community. That has an appeal to me. So I appreciate that.
we do have a historical sign that's going to be purchased and that's going to be paid for through donations over the years that's come into that Commissioner Pratt has uncovered through the Madison County Foundation donations that still exist, and it's enough to pay for that sign. So it'll be a historical marker that tells about the Brandenburg home and the chapel.
Okay, will you have a second? Is there any other questions about that money? So we can take a separate vote or we can move on and do both of them at the same time. What's the preference of the council?
Separate.
You want to do them separate? Okay, so can I have a motion for the 3,600 repairs and maintenance for 80,000?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, that's Dr. Green. And can I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Cole. Any further discussion?
And this is for the 80,000.
This is just for the 80,000.
I do have one more thing if I could add.
Oh, yes.
I didn't look today, so I'm not positive, but that fund that we're asking for the appropriation fund from is about $3.7 million. So thank you.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. All opposed?
No.
Okay, so I have one no, and that was Ms. Councilwoman Grabowski. Okay, and what's the second thing you have is machinery and equipment for 31,000.
That would be the IT department will handle that if you don't mind.
I'm Lisa Cannon. I work for the IT department. I am no longer the director. And I guess I want to point out before we start this presentation, the same thing I told the commissioners and I told Tom. There's a big difference between IT and AV. Audiovisual is a lot different than IT. And we have been supporting this system in here for a long time, and it's out of our wheelhouse. And it has slowly died due to age, degradation, whatever. It is dying. We are down to our last port on microphones, that type of thing. So that's, I know that sounds grim and it sounds like way to the point, but in the process of all of that, I told Derek, I said, if we can find something that we can get everybody to agree on, I'll take point on it because typically I've taken point on this. Chris Morris has helped immensely, but we don't have an AV person in IT. We have been literally flying by the seat of our pants for about 15 years on this. So when it came time, Tom comes over and he's like, we're down to our last port. One more microphone dies, we're done. Can't plug it in. And we put these in. It helps a little bit, but if you've got your laptops in front of it, it doesn't. So we started searching, and a couple of vendors fell into my email by chance, just simply because I used to be the director. And so I talked to Derek, and I started researching them, going on sites that they recommended. You know, this is what we do. Look at this site; it'll show you a meeting. We kept doing that, and we came to this company called River Systems, and which is what I'm bringing to you today. What Tom is bringing. I'm speaking from IT just to let you know that because I offered to do point on this, doesn't mean I'm doing the support on it. The company actually has two guys who, I mean, it's a big company, but they have two repair people that live within a half hour of here. And they grew up in Anderson, know the city well. So that was the number one thing that went ding, ding, ding. The second thing that went was the pricing. It was phenomenal. It would turn it into a Zoom room, but it would be broadcast live. And then we just put that link to the website, and it's on our live or on our meetings, that the list of meetings that we've had in the past. And Kara and Todd can attest to this. When Nikki gets ready to download these, and Todd used to do these, you take them, you get them off of the server or off of that computer, a couple of hours, then to upload them to the website. If it's a 2-hour meeting, your computer's tied up for 6 or 7 hours, and that is no lie. That software that we are using now has been good to us for 16 years, but it is way past time for it to be replaced by something that would free Nikki up to actually do her job. And it does tie her computer up every time there's a meeting that goes longer than a half hour. Her computer's tied up for a couple hours. And so she's having to work at someone else's station or do things that she can manually do because it is very tedious. So I have handouts for all of you, and you'll see in here that they did their homework because one of the pictures is of you guys.
Hey.
One of the things that I would like to point out that it does, I'm sorry, I should have grabbed the ball. The camera, we have the option. Let's give them to you. Can I have one back?
Yes, ma'am. I'm just gonna take
There's two
two.
to
I'm gonna
give you.
all these.
Okay. There's two. There's two.
Or are they set?
Yeah, there's two.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
One is
All right,
Zoom.
yep, you got the commissioners.
And
What do
one
you
is-
have? What do you have? Zoom or commissioners? Look at the
I'm
front.
gonna
Commissioners.
take a Zoom and a commissioners, and I'm gonna give you the rest.
All right. What do you have?
We have Zoom for government package.
Here.
Commissioners.
Okay.
Commissioners.
Uh,
What do you need?
I don't. These.
Got an extra Zoom there.
So one of the things that is really nifty about this, and you may choose to do it and may choose not to do it, is the camera that would face you has AI abilities, which I hate that word in it, but you know. And it would pane you off kind of like the Brady Bunch, except, across. And it follows your face. So if you get up and move, it's going to follow you to a certain point, and it's trained as to how far it's supposed to follow you before it goes find something else to um, concentrate on. But what's so cool about that is we can put that on the screen the first few meetings for you to watch yourself. No sound, but just watch yourself. You, right now, when you watch yourself on the screen, you're going to change how you're sitting. Our biggest problem is we can't hear you. The taxpayers cannot hear, even when we have the goosenecks. So when you watch yourself a few times, then you're going to sit up, you're going to talk into your microphone, and you're going to, not look like you're watching the Super Bowl, laid back watching the Super Bowl. That's what actually sold me on this. And I really wanted Rob to be here because he's the worst. He does it all the time and has done it for years. The price of this was lower than any of the others. They put in a sound bar, they put in the cameras, they'll put in an amplifier for here. It includes a wireless mic. It includes this. There'll be goosenecks, but they're new goosenecks. And then outside for the overflow, like we've had recently over the data centers, we can have a sound bar out there with a screen. That's all part of this quote. We've done our homework. Your meetings are the ones we get the most complaints about not being able to hear. So I'm hoping because of that you'll take this into consideration. It's Tom's money. It's the commissioner's project. I just offered because all this stuff drops in my mailbox to kind of run point on it. But with this, they'll train each secretary for each group. They would train Nikki. They'll train Angie. They'll train Nikki Wood. They'll train all of them that sit here, and it eventually will leave IT out. Now we've never turned anybody down ever for helping, but eventually it's the commissioner's equipment, it's the auditor or the secretary of whatever board is sitting here would have the ultimate responsibility. We would back them up, and like I said, the support is 2 guys less than 30 minutes away. So that's my pitch, and now Tom's going to tell you the amounts, talk to you about the money and what he has and what he doesn't have.
I think to piggyback off what Lisa's talking about, we are on our last port on the audio side. We had 3 extra ports on the unit over there. We are out. So we will be spending money in the future on this system, one way or the other, whether we do this or not. This system's 15 or sometimes some of that pieces are older than 15 years. Where technology's gone since then. I think this is really a reasonable price for the amount of work that we're going to get. We're also, I will add, for instance, you just saw a spreadsheet up there that was very hard to read. We've already purchased out of our budget 7 monitors for every seat in here. We purchased that really for the audience and the taxpayers, but now we have to kind of share it, not only with your board, but planning and BZA, they all use that. And it has to stay like that. And neither one of you can see it very well. So with the monitors you'll be able to see it right there in front of you. And we'll be able to turn that so that the taxpayers and the audience can see the same thing you're looking at. We're also adding another monitor up here that can be used for a lot of different things, whether it's a Zoom, one of you are zooming in, you can be on that screen, or we can show something else up there. So this is really a two-part. I don't want to get out of order.
No, I was
Uh,
gonna think we're gonna have to get out of order. anyway,
Yeah,
so-
because there's two pieces of this. The first piece is what Lisa was talking about, to purchase this equipment and have them install it. And you have the agreement there, or the list of everything in there in front of you. That's $31,000. Like I said, we are going to be replacing some of this stuff real soon. So we can piecemeal it like we have been doing for the last 15 years. We have 2 or 3 different vendors that are involved in this. Some of them are responsive and most of them are not. I've been trying to get the sound guy in here for 3 months. He's in Cincinnati, and every time we set a meeting, he doesn't show up. So I'd really like to get this under one umbrella, which is what this will do. They will be totally responsible for this. So the first thing we're looking at is the 31,000. That is to purchase all of the equipment that you see in front of you. Lisa also mentioned the amount of time that it's taking the auditor's office to download the minutes. And they're not the only office to download minutes from meetings in here. Yeah, some of them aren't even doing it anymore because it could take a day of somebody's computer and time to do it. We'll be switching to Zoom. Zoom, it's not the Zoom that we all use. It's for government use. It's a different license. And it will be instantly downloaded. So that will save us time there. We will also be getting rid of what you're paying for now, which is $2,000 a year, savings on what he's paying for now. That will go away. So along with that, if I may jump to the other request, the good thing is, again, we're going to one company that's going to handle all of it under one umbrella for one company. There is a yearly Zoom cost, which you have in front of you. It's $4,800 and some change. And then we're paying a monthly fee of $1,678, which is on there. That is for the company to maintain it, upgrade it as needed through the years, and anything else that we need replacement-wise, material-wise, things like that, with a couple of exceptions, like microphones. If they go bad, we might have to buy one. But generally, they will maintain the entire system for us. And they've said they'll be here within an hour of us needing them to fix something.
So Tom, I see the 4882 for the Zoom, and then what was the other number you gave us? The 16 something?
Yeah. that's what I like to-
The 31, the other one is the general fund new money request for other services and charges, 39,000. It's $10,500.
Well, here's the Zoom, I see that.
It is, if you find,
Yeah.
did you give them the new contract?
The 24,000,
That's the,
24,353 is a one-time cost for installation. That's
Right.
their labor. This is
Oh, the
3
monthly's
years.
2250.
2250 is the monthly fee.
Oh.
And they're
This
guaranteeing
year?
that for
Yeah,
3 years.
that's the
The 2250, and then you add the Zoom cost to that for a monthly fee.
So the Zoom cost every month is 48.
No, that's a year.
That's a year.
That's a year. I'm just saying, we would pay that, we'd pay both of them by the year, but sometimes they give us a monthly and we have to add that up, and then the Zoom is a yearly, but the 2250 is monthly.
Thanks, Tom.
So the other request is the $10,500. That is those two fees added together for the next 5 months for the end of the year.
The 2250 and the 4882.
Well, the 4880 is a yearly.
Right.
I divided
You're
that for
just taking
5
six-
months.
6 months of that, right?
Yeah.
And then,
5 months.
and then the 6 months of the, or 5 months.
I
of
did
the-
5 months, but yeah.
Okay, so the 31,000, I just want to make sure I understand
Okay.
this. So on the pricing, it was 24,353, and that included 36 months, total monthly, 36 months equals.
Those are different lines.
That's not included in the total.
I gave Kim my paper, I'm
So the
sorry.
2250 is not
Here you
included
go.
in this 24.
Right,
Correct.
that's a separate cost. This is a cost and that's a cost. And this is for 3 years. And this is maintenance, and that's the cost they'll charge us for every year.
So roughly
I'm sorry.
31,000 to put it in
2250 is a year.
and about 30,000 a year to
month.
maintain it.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Monthly,
The 2250 is monthly.
yes. And they are, like I said,
But what I'm asking for right now is for the next 5 months. We're not asking for all that,
No, I understand.
but that would be the yearly from this point
We're
forward.
committing to that.
Yeah.
We're trying to be mindful of what are we committing
And-
to going forward.
I've already put that on our budget for next year.
So it's $27,000 a year. Because it's 2250 a month, so $27,000 a year plus the 4882.
Right.
$31,882. And that's going to be a reoccurring charge every year.
Yes,
Is that correct?
yes. The 31 is a one-time install, supplying the equipment and installing it.
Okay, so well, and that's coming out of a different fund. It's not coming out of the general fund.
But we're asking for the 31 out of the capital expenditure funding,
Yeah.
and then we're asking for the other one to come out of the general fund. Because it's going to be a yearly cost.
Right, I understand.
Okay.
Yeah, I get it. So the installation says 24,353, but you're asking for
Yeah.
31,000.
We added a microphone, a couple of microphones, so the numbers kind of changed from when I
Okay.
submitted this and,
Okay.
3, 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we're off by a few hundred, but
Okay.
we're just going to take that
Yeah.
because one's down, the 31 is really 24, but the monthly fee went up. But it's not very much. You had the new contract there.
So I have a question because we're kind of consolidating these two things. We'll come back to the first one in a minute. But so currently, in your line, in that particular 3,900 line, we have 10,357. What else comes out of that? Do you know what else comes out of that, Tom?
There are some fees, some subscriptions, and conference money comes out 39,000. We still have 3 more conferences that I know of this year. 4 more, I'm sorry, 4 more.
So you're saying that line will probably, you've requested an additional.
We will use every bit of that.
No, I mean, so for next year's budget, you're looking at adding an additional $32,000 to that line to
Yes.
cover this?
Because currently it's 2,000 that comes out of that for our current services that we pay for.
I'm not sure, that,
$2,000 a year.
what account does it come out of?
And they may or may not answer, definitely won't come.
I think we're just trying to figure out the money, I think.
Yeah.
So you're saying right now we're paying 2,000 a year for the service that we don't get. Got it. So
The
technically
additional
it's
30,000.
the additional $30,000. All right, is there any other discussion or comments?
Do you have any, can you give us context? Like, did you get some other bids relative to costs?
I did, actually, look,
Because it does, I mean, in
I
our,
know it
well,
sounds
in
like
our
a-
world,
I know.
in medical supplies, they don't charge very much for the thing, but then the maintenance of the thing is where money is made.
that's
And so
exact-
clearly that seems to be part of what's happening here. So I just like to, the 30,000 is one thing, but then the 30,000 annually
The second,
is
the second one that I looked at And I mean, I guess I should have brought for comparison. Um, I don't know that I even still have it, but, it was about 45,000 a year. And we would still have to manually download or upload the meetings to our website. Um, that I can't even think of the name of it. When I saw it, I was just like, because we'd already talked to these guys and I said, could you just send me, I blanked out the name of the company and said, can you send me something comparable to this? And the pricing, I blanked out the company and the pricing and got a quote back, and it was like 15,000 a year more.
How many quotes did you get?
I got the two. The others didn't meet our needs at all. They wanted to piecemeal, like I could have got a company that would come in and do the sound, but then I'd had to get another company to come in to do the software, and that's what we've done with this. He's paying 2,000, but that's only for the BIS software. That's not for any of the sound. He's running out of microphones. Would be a totally different vendor, and we've piecemealed it like that. So when you start trying to get it done under one umbrella, it's really hard to find somebody that'll do that. But I mean, we could have called Sine Wave and said, okay, you come in and do all the sound. But then we would have had to call another vendor that said, okay, you come in and give us the software to record and to send out to do it live as the state mandate. And this company, it falls under the House bill for the live feeds. They understand all that. That's why they set up the way they do. But you could call a company to come in and they'll do that. But it's hard to get somebody who comes in and will put it in so we can do the live feed while it's going on. Then it archives, and then it has to be put out on the website. I mean, it's not like Facebook Live.
Right. Have you checked with the other counties in Indiana and see
Yes,
what they're
the
using?
Huntingburg town
All that on their website.
and St. Joseph County. Is
They the
using
only
this.
two that they service in
And
Indiana.
well, they do South Bend and in St. Joe County also.
City
That I
Hall.
don't know if that's the only two. Those are the ones they told me to go look at.
Okay.
So they may do others, but
Have you checked with other municipalities to see what they're doing?
yes. And they gave me names of companies, but when I asked them their pricing,
Really? There's more?
yes, I belong to a group called GMAS, and we trade information all the time. These guys came highly recommended. Others, they have the money to have a person on staff that knows AV and IT. I talked to Hamilton County, I talked to Boone County, I talked to Johnson County. And when I talked to these guys and they said South Bend, I looked at South Bend's website. I didn't talk to them. And I looked at St. Joe St. Joe and then Huntingburg. I can tell you straight up that the thing that has sold us on this, the fact that you have two people that live in Hancock County at Fortville, and either one of them could be here in less than an hour if we needed them. That sold us straight up because we're tired of waiting days to get a phone call. Yeah, Todd's nodding. He knows. It's painful.
Yeah.
It is painful when it's out of your realm and you can't get anything done.
How many meetings a month would this service?
Pardon me?
How many meetings a month
Oh,
man.
would this
gosh,
service?
there's at least 3 or 4 a week in here.
Oh, at least, yeah.
I mean, you got planning, you got BZA,
Yeah.
you've got
Drainage-
Parks
Drainage
Department,
Board,
Drainage
Parks.
Board.
Commissioners, you,
Yeah. Twice a month in here. Planning meets a couple times a month, and yeah, it's election board.
yeah, there's a lot.
And I'm telling, you guys know, you guys hear your constituents complain that they cannot hear, cannot make out what's being said. How much did you give that person? Because I couldn't see or I couldn't hear. The meeting lagged, you know.
Yeah, I would agree. Certainly for me, I've heard that. When I try to access it, it's just, or to look at
It's
another meeting,
painful.
it's frustrating. And in my mind, if you can't hear and you can't see, what's the point of having a public meeting?
And I
Um,
just keep
so-
thinking we're gonna get dinged by
Yeah.
the state.
Well,
One of
I
these
just,
days. You're
this
not
is,
making it easy enough for the public.
yeah, this is about, I mean, what are the taxpayers getting?
Right.
Service.
Something that directly affects them.
Yeah, and where they have access to information. So I'm, for all of last year, I was thinking, can we just not do something better? So
This is it.
I'm pleased at the fact that you've done some research, and I'm struck with the fact that there aren't more companies who would approach this holistically.
They do, but they know that it's a state. Well, they do, there are companies, but they know now that it's a state mandate and they feel like they have us over a barrel and can gouge the prices.
If we enter into this contract, they install the new cameras, all the new monitors and so forth. Is that all a part of the annual fee? Or if we ever decide, hey, we don't want to use River Systems anymore, and we switch to somebody else in the future, is that all their equipment or is that our equipment?
We have the one-time cost, that's ours, and that's the
We're
installation.
buy-
And we're
buying.
purchasing the equipment.
Yeah, and from then on, it's the maintenance, and they will, if a mic goes out, they'll be here in an hour to fix it. They guaranteed us no more than 24 hours if it's a bigger issue. But, I mean, these guys,
Want to make sure it wasn't
well,
a
and you know, it
subscription
made
service.
me feel
No.
good when he said,
Yeah.
when the guy said, well, I'll see you later, because my mother-in-law's got dinner ready over on Ellenhurst. It was like, I know where Ellenhurst is, that's fantastic, you know, because they know the area, they're here.
A lot of time with the system we've got now, you may watch some of the other meetings and usually the sound comes through, but sometimes the video doesn't come
Right.
through at all. It just goes black or freezes. I mean, we've got problems coming and we're gonna have to spend some money on this thing and it's all piecemealed right now. I'd hate to throw money at our existing system.
What will we be doing with all the existing system? Is it just gone?
It's,
I don't know that anybody would want it.
it's dated. yeah.
The majority of what is, we would definitely keep that hard drive, because it has all the meetings on it. The meetings are also kept on the network, but we would keep the hard drive, but everything else. Crap.
Okay, do we have any other questions, comments?
We do have to open it for public comment.
Well, well,
Yeah, because
yes, I
the
am. You're
second
right,
thing is
you're
new
right.
money.
Yeah, I was trying to think where I was on that, because I know we were skipping ahead to some things. Well, we do and don't, not yet, because I'm not ready to vote on
The
the
first
new
one we
money.
don't,
We
second
gotta
one
do
we
the
do.
first one, which is in the capital asset improvement fund. That one doesn't. Then we need to open it up for.
Unless you take them both at the same time.
Unless we do them at the same
Can we
time.
do public comment first? Because if there is somebody from the public that's against it, that changes my mind, but I've already appropriated the
Uh,
30.
Yeah, let's just take them together.
I would agree with that. I like the idea of public comment because why would we vote for one and not the other? That doesn't make any
let's
sense.
put it together.
So,
You
Okay.
gotta have both.
Yep.
So is there any public comment on this particular item for the sound system?
David Sargent, 609 Imey Lane. I'm involved with trying to start my own YouTube channel, so I'm familiar with audio and video and switching. Seems like she's done her due diligence in checking with this. This equipment is not cheap. Plus the fact that you're 2 or 3 generations behind right now, 15 years at least. So with a vendor who does audio and video, puts it all together as well as data storage, if it is a good company, which I'm sure she's alluded to because she's done the background check, it would be very wise for you to look at this and do this properly. And the money that she is speaking about is not out of line with what I've already researched. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Right.
That does bring up a question for me if there's not any other public comment, and that is, how long have they been doing this?
Oh,
Do we have, do we have a duration of the company?
we do.
Okay,
Okay, so Mr. Culp has been in for 2 years. Rick was in for 8, so that's 10. And Jane Lyons is the one who bought it.
no.
No,
The-
River
the-
Systems.
River
Oh, I'm
Sys-
sorry.
How long have
I
River
thought you
Systems?
meant how long has
No,
this been
How
in?
long have River Systems been in business? I mean, do
You
we
know,
have
I
a
don't
sense
know
of-
the answer to that question. I did not ask them that. I did not ask them that.
You have an idea how long they've been doing the other counties that you referenced?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Jonathan?
Yeah, I'm sure of that.
I'm sure that's
Are you Googling?
easily accessible information. You know, a lifetime warranty's only not as good for the life of the piece as it is the company that supports it.
Well,
right?
we're
You
only
know,
paying for 3 years, so
Yeah.
surely to God, they'll stay in for 3 years. Or surely to goodness.
Does not seem that they have it on here. Yeah, that's something we can reach out to them. It's not in their website.
Okay, so, are there any other questions
River SYS.
about this? Because if not, I need to entertain a motion to approve 2 different things. One is the capital asset and improvement fund, the $31,000 for machinery and equipment, and also out of the general fund, the 3,900 other services for 10,500.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so that was Mrs. Keller and Mrs. Grabowski. Any other discussion?
I'm just really excited about it.
Wow.
They've been in business 9 years.
I mean, I started coming to meetings in this room in 2019, so I sat out in the audience. Yeah, you held my first baby, and this is number 5. But I sat out in the audience. I've been out in the overflow during a meeting, so I've experienced that. I go back and I rewatch our meetings online. I watch commissioners' meetings online. You know, all these issues that have been brought up tonight. I'm like, yeah, I've personally experienced that. A couple months ago when I was injured and couldn't make it here, I tried to Zoom in, and I kind of did. I missed several votes because we kept getting disconnected. And so, yeah, I kind of share Ken's sentiment here about time, and I'm really hoping this is a solution to the problems we've been having.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay, that passes.
Thank you.
So,
Question, when would this be installed? Any idea? We'll have to get the contract agreement in front of the commissioners, which will probably be in 3 weeks. To the next meeting is Tuesday. We probably won't be ready for that one, but the next one, once they approve it. So sometime this year.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
probably, yeah.
Yeah, sometime in August.
Answer it
It
not
better be
soon
this
enough.
I budgeted
we
for
just,
5 months.
we just approved money for this year.
It's like we're gonna have this.
It's
we're
gonna be
have
big news,
Furbo,
Ken.
The budget session, like what an improvement on our transparency
huge.
and
It's
services
just
for the
huge.
taxpayers.
Great. Okay, the last thing well,
Thank
not
you,
the
guys.
last thing, but, on the commissioners there, I don't know if you're gonna do that, or I think Rick left us in.
I don't know. I was doing it anyway.
You were doing it. Oh, you're hiding.
Right
I
there.
see you. Okay. The other, I didn't know who was doing it. So, the unemployment for the commissioners in the general fund.
We can tag team on that. As of the 1st of June, we had $3,865.39 left in the unemployment line item. We currently have a bill of $5,372 that needs to be paid in the unemployment. We took an average, looked at all the years of what it would take to get to the end of this year. And this is what we came up with, that we're going to need to pay unemployment claims by the end of the year, something we have to pay. We don't have a choice. So that's our request.
So I was looking at your budget, for the last couple, well, not the last couple of years, but the year, the one that we have figures for. And then I know last year you asked for 28. We gave you the same as we gave you the year before. Is there something that's changed that this has gone up so much?
If you look at the history, I can tell you that here in just a minute. Oh, wrong one. It's all over the board. It just depends on people leave and how they leave. There for a while during COVID, we weren't, in 2020, 2018, we have a low of 7,900. But 2020, it was $95,000 and some change. Average has been $38,000, been average since 2013. It's all over the board. So I don't know how to really explain it. It's different every year.
Who's eligible for unemployment insurance?
Yeah.
Answer that.
They asked for 28, gave us 18.
We're self-employed for uninsurance, or unemployment, so we don't pay a premium for at a rate, an experience rate. We pay for the actual claim. So let's say somebody files for unemployment and they're granted unemployment and their payment is $390 a week times 4. That's the bill for the month. So that's how that happens. What we done was sit down with Kara and went over the payroll, the existing claimants that are on unemployment benefits right now, took those that are getting ready to come on unemployment, factored those out through the end of the year, and that 35,000 number is what we came up with. But we pay the actual dollar amount. So if somebody draws unemployment, we write the check, but we write it to the state, and then the state pays them their unemployment. So that's how that works.
So it's not if they left on their own volition, right? It's if they're.
That's up to administrative law judge. Sometimes they'll make the claim, we'll dispute the claim. Quite frankly, we have one right now that left and went to another job at another government unit and somehow left that unit, and somehow we're getting the claim. So we're investigating that right now. I don't think we should have to pay it, but it depends on the reporting period and all that, where you earn the benefits from, all that's factored in. So.
Well, the reality is we have to pay it.
True.
And this is one of those where budgeting is a challenge because predictability is difficult. I mean, the reality is it just is what it is, like the health insurance piece, you know,
Right.
it's just you spend what you spend. If we don't need it, we won't spend it, you know, so I'm not sure I see a lot of option here.
We dispute those claims. If they're valid disputes, we dispute those claims. So
Yeah.
It's just, I've got a history of 30 years in self-employment, and they seem to lean toward sometimes the claimant.
Yeah. I've had to pay unemployment too, so I understand that.
Any other questions, concerns, comments? If
Make a
not,
motion to approve.
okay, that's
Second.
Councilwoman Growowski, second, Dr. Green. All in favor signify by aye. Oh, yes, thank you. That's why I've got you up there, Todd. Any public comment on this? Doesn't do any good for me to put it in bold and highlight it on my agenda because I still don't see it. I know, every meeting I do this and every meeting I forget. Okay, no public comment. Then we have a first and a second. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that passes. Okay, next is our salary ordinances. The first one we have is salary ordinance 2026-7C, which is the prosecutor's office law enforcement fund. I need a motion to approve that.
Do you know what this is?
What's that?
Do you know where this is? What they're
So
doing?
moved. Okay, so who first did it?
I'm not sure. What
You
you're
first did it?
Where this
Okay, who
one's on the
seconded it?
line.
I'll second it.
You'll second it?
I
You
just
guys-
didn't know.
Oh, I know.
Don't know.
You know where we're at in the, you know what we're doing? Okay. So we have a first and a second. Mrs. Keller and Mrs. Grabowski on salary ordinance 26-7C. Any discussion? If not, all in favor signify. Oh, yeah, we need to do roll call. I was gonna-
Counselor Colt,
Yes.
Counselor Grabowski,
Yes.
Counselor Keller,
Yes.
Vice President Green,
Yes.
President.
Yes. Okay, and the second one is salary ordinance 2026-7D. The general fund, the commissioner's unemployment line. Can I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Dr. Green is first, second.
I'll second.
Mr. Cole, roll call, please.
Yes.
Counselor Grabowski,
Yes.
Counselor Keller,
Yes.
Vice President Green,
Yes.
President Nort.
Yes. And that passes. Okay, the only other thing we have is budget discussion. Do you guys want a 5-minute break real quick and then get into that?
I'm never gonna public comment.
Oh, gosh. Yes, does anybody have, do we have anybody on the list back there? Would you go grab the list, Jonathan? Oh, thanks, Bob. That's usually Rob's job, and he's not here today. We're good? Okay, then there's no public comment. I want to do budget discussion, but do you guys want to take a quick break, or do you just want to go into it?
I wanna just keep going.
All right,
Roll.
all right, we're on a roll, let's go. You don't have to if you don't want to, unless you just are bored today and want to stay.
I'll behave, you can go.
Haven't seen my wife.
You're the one we gotta worry about.
I'm always okay.
Have a good evening.
Okay, so I gave you guys a couple handouts, but I want you to look at this one first. Not the colorful one, the ugly one. Todd doesn't do colors. So on this, Mrs. Grabowski and I and Todd sat down later last week and we did a couple different things. We did the estimated revenues, and in the estimated revenues, Todd made the comment that he's heard some scuttlebutt that possibly they would let us go to the maximum levy on property tax. So in this spreadsheet, you're going to see a 0.04, which is what we always are at the 0.4. And then if they do let us raise it to the 0.053, that's those numbers are there. We also took out of here the building and the permit fees, which is around $200,000 that we anticipated there. We looked at the lit shares, made sure that they were pretty accurate with what we anticipated coming in. I know there was some conversation about juvenile probation fees, but they're not going in here right now, so they were good. We didn't have to mess with that. Is there any other changes we made? I don't think so. So on your bottom page, you're going to see your totals and revenue. Now 29, this is going all the way through 29. Actually, yes, through 29. So as you can see in 29, there's a tremendous jump in revenue because of the lit structure going into place.
And that's maxing.
That
out.
is maxing it out, which I don't anticipate we would do that. But I just wanted you to see what that number looks like. Now, Todd and I did kind of discuss maybe the next day, because we're also working on the must stuff, trying to figure out the loss of property tax revenue for all our municipalities, because we have to calculate that in when we're looking at their lit that they're going to need to make themselves whole. It isn't just their lit, but it's also their property tax laws. So we're going to be meeting, what, Friday, I think, to go over some of those numbers again, and get those into the system. One of the things that I asked Todd is, can we pay our bond off early for the jail? And it's a 6 years that we can't do anything for 6 years, but at the end of 6 years, there's no penalty to pay it off early. So one of my thoughts was, well, if we did go to the max, we could bank that money for that 6 year number and then pay off that bond pretty close to paying it off, actually. Because we'd also not have the bond payment. So that's just something for y'all to think about. I won't be here to make those decisions, but that's something for you to think about. With that being said, we can move to the color sheet. And the only thing I haven't updated on here, Todd, was the bond payment. I didn't get that new number from you. So what I did here is you're going to see 4 lines for 27, 4 for 28, and 4 for 29. The 4 for 27, that's what we're looking at for next year. It's whether we do a 3 or 5% increase and whether we get to do only to the 0.04 or if we can go to the maximum on the levy for our revenues. In that number at the top, where you're looking at anticipated revenues based on the old calculations, those are all our new numbers that are based upon the first sheet we just went over, okay?
Jody, can I ask you a question?
Yes, absolutely.
When you're talking about maxing the tax levy, you're just talking about appropriating a higher percent of the tax levy, not changing the tax levy, right? Like we wouldn't be increasing tax rates. We would just be appropriating
I'm
a
gonna
higher.
let Todd
Yeah,
say-
thank you, because that was my.
It's not about increasing tax rates, because to determine the tax rates, you have to know the certified net assessed value.
So
So
the levy stays the same, but we just appropriate more.
no, the levy is guarded by a maximum levy growth quotient. Okay, for the past 4 years, the states cap that at a 4% growth. But traditionally, the maximum levy growth quotient is actually a formula that's an average of the last 6 years non-farm income of the state. Okay, so they figure that statewide non-farm income, and they take a 6-year block. And however much that's growing on average, that's what they let your maximum levy grow at. It's the state's way of kind of controlling. At the time, it solved out of control growth in levies. So they didn't want the levies increasing at such a dramatic rate when the underlying people weren't making any more money. So that was their control for growing levies. So like I said, the last 4 years, that's been capped at 4%. And we would, as a county, we'd always go to the maximum levy. If you did not go to the maximum levy, and it didn't result in any tax saving to the taxpayer, because other levies of other units in the county would grow to occupy that growth. Okay, so generally every unit would go to that maximum levy. If not, you just lose it to another entity. So, and really, if you think about it, it's the only way outside of an income tax growth from rising wages, that maximum levy growth is the only way to accommodate for rising cost year over year. So does that make sense? I mean, it's a little complicated.
Well, I think
subject,
the
but-
question was fairly simple.
Okay.
And
Was the answer simple?
begging for a simpler answer.
Okay.
In other words,
Are you gonna take more money out of my
are we,
paycheck?
right,
or from my
there,
property
that's the question. And
Not
the
at
answer
all.
is either yes or no.
No,
No,
no.
okay.
No, it's
Yes or no is what
I'm-
we
I'm
can
trying to
do.
whether,
track with you here.
let's say you thought you were going to be generous and say, we're just not going to levy property taxes. It would have no benefit to the taxpayer because it would be eaten up by other
Some other
entities.
municipalities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciated the lesson.
Okay.
I geek out on this stuff. So how did we come up with the point 053.
053 is actually a prediction by, I don't think the predictions by Jamie Bolser, but she mentioned that that's what they're expecting that growth to be for next year. So we don't really know going forward, but it's really not hard to calculate if you have the numbers for the
Previous
last
5 years. or
previous
whatever.
5 years, and then really what you're guessing at is that 6th year, what that's going to come out at.
And
Yeah,
it would-
going across 6 years, it would be easier to guess accurately at that.
Yeah.
That's
And I think Todd did mention that we, or I need to have a conversation with our representative, Gaskell and
Yes, and Pierce,
Pierce to
that
see
they
what
that
they
they
think is
let
I did
the
reach out to Mike Gaskell. but
let
that
the
was just
maximum
today.
levy growth quotient do what it's supposed to do. Instead of artificially capping it. I have a very similar complaint with the legislators. Oftentimes, when they're capping either your levy or changing your lit or anything, everything they're doing is trying to get local government to spend less. They never impose this on themselves at the state level. So that I find that very irritating, because we work in local government, that they like a pat on the back for lowering property taxes, but they turn around and put the onus on the county council to raise taxes so that you can actually pay your employees too. So it's kind of a weird experience.
So we've just kind of taken in every scenario. So we know worst case
oh,
scenario.
this is great. Thank you for doing this.
Worst case scenario, 27, and we can only do a 3% Well, before I get to that, let's go down to the expenses. As you can see, I did the expense of what a 3% raise would be and versus a 5% increase. I did that in both of those. And then when you get to the next year, I added, say we gave another 3% on top of the 3% and another 5% on top of the 5%. So that's where you get those next numbers. And then likewise with the next 29. And then the health insurance needs that $1 million is currently sitting in our rainy day fund, which needs to really come back over to our general fund. And then in 28, we're going to have to fund the raises that we gave to the merit officers, which next year won't be an issue because we still have the sheriff's commissary 150 and the commissioners 300,000 that they've agreed to put towards that, as well as what we have already appropriated towards it. And then finally, current general fund. This is saying our general fund, which it's not, but I'm just saying that if it stayed exactly what it was today, taking in those couple extra things that we've talked about doing, and you add that in, and then if you look over on 29, we also added in the jail bond payments, which Todd thought I was a little high on those, but I did take that off of the Baird information that we had received from them. And then also the current public safety budget, which is actually, if you look at my explanation over to the right, which is on the second sheet, sorry about that. I figured if I got it all in one sheet, you wouldn't be able to read it. Our current current public safety fund is 6.1 million, almost 6.2, but we won't be paying the 1.5 million for the bond interest that is currently coming out of that, because now we'll be making the bond payments. So that actually reduces down to actual expenses around 4.67. So then you get a total number there about expenses, and then your total line. If you see that, that's if we kept the insurance. Now, if I take that insurance and we talked about maybe keeping it in the rainy day fund for the next couple of years, just as to help us out through those until they implement the lit, you can see down at the bottom in the pink, the total line, how much money we'd have extra or we'd be in the hole. And so, I mean, when we take that $1 million out, we still have a little bit of playroom, but not a lot. And that's where your job comes in, going to your department heads, getting onto our program and looking to see what increases they have put in there for your operating lines especially, and having some justification for those. There should be two budgets now in ClearGov. It's ClearGov, right? Let's read it. There's two budgets in ClearGov now. One is with raises, one is without, so that we can better see our numbers, see where those increases are coming in the operating costs. I know that the budget, I think right now, with the raises in, is around $3 million more than what we have right now in our budget. So these are some things to think about. And I think the other thing that we need to, so I would like you to talk with your department heads. I'd like you to get on ClearGov, and I'd like you to review those budgets, have conversations with your department heads. A couple things we're going to have to contend with, or we need to make some decisions on. One is, are we going to even consider any new employee lines this year? Because I know there's a couple departments that are requesting additional employees. What is our stance going to be on that? Secondly, some of the departments gave us 5% cuts, and I'm thankful for that. This is taking the budget that we currently have without those 5% cuts in there. How do we want to approach that? 5% that for the departments that did give us that?
The 5% cuts go back into those departments that cut the 5%. Is that right? That's what I thought we had talked about.
We did talk about that. Yes, we did.
I thought that's what was communicated to
yes.
department head.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
We're on the same page.
I'm trying to think what else I wanted to say. Oh, and then August 5th, we are going to have starting at noon here in the commissioners, we are going to have budget hearings, but it's only going to be limited. I don't want to hear from all the departments. I only want to hear from departments that have substantial increases, or our larger departments that we need to have a conversation with as far as their budgets go. If they've reduced their budgets, if their budget's the same as it was the year before, we don't need to meet with them. It's not something that they need to spend time doing, or us. So I think that we should be able to get through that pretty quickly.
So those that don't have substantial increases, they would need to have a justification.
Well, they are to have a justification.
Anyway.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But I'm
we should be able to view in ClearGov.
Yes.
August 5th, that's a Wednesday. What time?
Noon. Hopefully it won't take us real long to get, I don't know yet even what departments I'm going to need to request come before us. But that's where you guys come in, and we all have assignments as liaisons for the department. So you can look at just your department's budgets, and you can ascertain whether or not that's a department that needs to.
At what time? 6?
Noon.
Noon.
Well, I mentioned to you about a department because you talked about not having pay increases in there, but they've cut some expenses in order to have those pay increases. Is that?
That's conversation for
Do
this
what?
council.
What was that?
A department has cut.
They've made accommodations within their own budget to be able to give a salary increase.
Right. Like cutting positions or cutting whatever line items to, yeah.
They had some flexibility in there.
Yeah,
with
'cause
them to be
The
able to
problem
do
is
that.
the people who didn't do that. I mean,
Right.
yeah,
I mean, it's my
it's
feeling,
pretty obvious.
just philosophically, I think I like the idea of giving department heads as much freedom to manage their budget. We give them a number, they manage their budget, they provide
100%.
line items according to the way that they see that their department could run most effectively.
Yep.
And if they're able to move money around and use it more effectively and give their staff raises, good for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I also like the idea of a global raise for our staff that have not received that.
Well, I know we talked
And
about
so-
I
doing
think
like a
those should be
3%.
separate things.
And right, and I like the idea. I'm just personally, I like the idea of issuing a 5% raise and having 3% of it, 3 of the 5 be mandatory and 2 of the percent be discretionary.
We talked about
Uh,
that, and then I thought about that though, and I'm like, we haven't given raises for 3 years. And so I was thinking, man, 3% is just not very much. It's just not very much.
Well, my contention would be the department head would have the ability to distribute all 5%.
Yeah, and if they
But
deem
also
necessary,
it offers the option of having merit.
and we still have oversight over it. Like if there was something that was a huge red flag, we still have oversight over it.
Anyway,
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's great.
Well, then we also have departments who have salaries funded outside of the general fund. So it'd be a little bit easier for them to do the pay increases there. It's just, I think we see with this how we can't treat every department exactly
Yeah,
the same.
there'll be certain situations that we have to handle specifically.
an effort at equity is good. Understanding that the outcome is not likely to be
Equitable?
equitable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That E word.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have any questions about my spreadsheet?
No, thank you.
This
for
is
doing
wonderful.
very
Really, this is great, Jody. Thank you.
I would just like to say that about your spreadsheet. I think it's excellent. And I really enjoy the colors.
It does help, actually.
I actually printed the first one. It was in black and white. I'm like, oh, that is not going to work. Without to have the colors.
So how did you pick the colors? Because
I didn't. It just
okay.
colors.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just really think it's important for this council, and it's something that's not been done in the past. You need to do projections out at least 3 years, not just because of Senate Bill 1, but because I think it gives you a better understanding of your revenue sources, your streams, instead of waiting until the last minute to be able to do that. And that reminds me of something else, that in 29, Todd and I, when we were calculating the property tax, we did take the commissioner's bridge tax up to the maximum, which was
Yes.
10.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, 10 cents. Yeah.
So I also wanted to make sure that was, you knew that as well. So homework, and I'll have to email my 2 absent council members. But I do need you to get with your department heads. I need you to look at their budgets, and you need to ascertain their increases and get back with me about whether or not they're a department that needs to be in a budget hearing for us on that day. Is there anything else? I mean, I guess my question is then, I guess you're gonna have to look at both submitted budgets. You're gonna need to look at the ones that the department had submitted, but you're also gonna need to possibly look at the one that we took the raises out, so you can kind of just see the operating expense.
And where did you say you see that?
They should both be in there now.
Yeah.
But is it a separate tab or? I have it pulled up. Yeah.
What I did in the effort of trying to eliminate the department heads from having to go in and pull, just to, in theory, have to go in and put anything back, was I copied it.
Okay.
I copied their initial as a separate playground box for us where nobody else really changes anything. If you go to, remember when we were on the left there, if you go to operational budgeting, it should in theory pop up a list now that has 3 total budgets visible. 27 budget, copy of 27 budget, and copy of 17.
Okay, I see it. Okay.
There's one that's outlined without wage increase. Those
Yes.
are the figures that President Norick is referring to.
Okay.
Alternatively, if you guys find that it's still just a really difficult learning curve, I have a contingency spreadsheet, which is a good old fashioned Excel.
Okay.
With some
Don't
information.
don't tell them that.
I'm being overwhelmed. But we want to make
Just
this
got deleted.
as easy as possible.
Okay.
There's no reason that a new implementation should hinder your budget process. Hard and on the department's parts, and I think everybody would be a little happier.
So my goal, guys, is that by our August meeting, we are in the process of being really close to knowing what we need to address. And by September's meeting, I want to pretty much have this budget finished and we know what it's going to be so that when it comes October, we come in, we pass our budgets and we move on and it's not a bunch of other stuff going on, you know, making a bunch of changes.
September's our public meeting, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we have to advertise the budget. When do we have to advertise the budget, Todd?
We have to have it advertise it 10 days before our September meeting on Gateway.
And that would be August 30th.
I do think that once we get to a point, it'll be much easier to advertise because then we'll just be exporting from ClearGov and importing into our financial software.
And once again, if we advertise the requested budget,
We could easily advertise the requested budget. I kind of personally, from a transparency standpoint, I'd rather advertise a lot closer to where we think we're
Okay.
going to be
okay,
because it seems kind of silly to advertise at 54 million if we're going to be adopting a 48 or 49 million dollar budget, you know. It
Okay.
doesn't give the public a real sense of what we're going to be spending, I think.
so with that being said, if we're having budget hearings, next month, that's before our council meeting, right? Yes. So at our council meeting, if you guys are game, then in August, we will have our budget meeting after our council meeting as well. And we will go ahead and start hashing through some of the budgets and getting them cleaned up so that we can have an idea, at least get the ones cleaned up we can, and then have further discussion in September at our council meeting, which ones we need to maybe. I mean, I want to be able to vote in August on any changes that we might make in the budget. Is that good?
Jody, I have this. I put this spreadsheet together. I made a copy for everybody. It's a two-sided spreadsheet. I would like to consider when we're doing salary increases that we would exempt elected officials from it. And so what I did is I compared counties comparable to our size county and they're on the back as well. Just for your review, these are counties that are 100,000 to 150,000 population. And then the average income is the average household income from each one of those counties. So you can kind of compare.
Are you talking about the mean and the median?
No, on the back side, do you see where it says average
Oh,
income?
sorry.
That's the average household income. And see how it compares, you know, to different salaries within our elected officials' pay. So just something that I put together for you to look at and
Yeah,
consider.
that's great. Thank you for doing that.
And then I had a question about ClearGov. We talked at one point about there's a portion of it that the public can get on and see. Is that something that they get to see as we're working on it, or is it something that they would have access to?
So it is its own section of the website that essentially will draw on the data that we have.
Yeah, so you're gonna go to,
If they were to go
go
to the
scroll.
Madison County
You actually go to
ClearGov site, they would
dashboard.
see
So
a more
go
clean
back
way that we
to,
got it
Okay.
presented
here's
for them,
the
but the
new
figures will be the same.
platform.
Okay. And is that something
I
that's
changed my
available
password.
now, or?
It is something that is available to us.
My dashboard.
As
It'd be
of
in the
right
county
now, we
general.
were kind of tentatively planning on
No.
getting through adoption
Proposals.
Okay.
before getting that posted and
And the
revised.
worksheets.
As it stands now, if it were
Yours is a little
public
different
facing,
to
they
me.
would have
So see
everything
there's welcome to
in
your
all
new
the years
dashboard.
prior, because we
Okay.
have all that data
Oh.
uploaded. We just don't have.
Let me see how you
26
can switch
or
back.
27
Just
data.
asking. That's no problem.
But it does give the ability
Yeah,
to
this
have a
is the-
breakdown of per capita, both on by a fund level or by a household level.
I don't know
A
if
lot
you're
of
up
that
there,
stuff is
so
already pre-built into
you already went
ClearGov,
back to
Okay.
dashboard.
so we wouldn't
Yeah.
have to pay anything additional for it.
Go
Should
back
we
to
choose to utilize
operational budget.
Great, thank you.
Okay. You all know your marching orders?
No, 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 no. Without
Oh, I see it. Thank you.
Yeah, you were already clicked in 227.
Gotcha. Okay.
Did you know your marching orders?
Yep.
Okay. Is there any other
Sorry.
questions or anything else we want to
We were
discuss
just
about
discussing
budget?
those orders.
You
actually.
were?
Yeah.
You were?
It's kind of bossy, but
Am I? Well, I'm the president. I can be
I
bossy.
like it.
Don't put
Okay.
that in the minutes, okay?
We'll leave that out.
Turn off your microphone.
Okay. All right, well, if there's no other questions or comments or anything about budget, then I need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Second that.
and second, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Don't sound so excited.
All
Well,
opposed, okay. I just really wanted to hit the
Haven't had
gavel
dinner
tonight because
yet.
I do that in the
Oh, that's great. Thanks for
Yes.
for
That over
that
there
when we
for me
get
is
I
there.
actually like the old version
So
better.
it's just- Okay.
The way it's there, I actually don't like the new version.
Oh.
Let's see here. Oh, mine is right here. Go
You mean
to
in the budget
Scott.
hearings?
You can go back.
Yeah, we'll probably do it in here.
Sam, how do you go back to? They have the